All right. Looks like we're live this time. Hopefully, this one is working. So I'm just going to completely restart it. Just going to go all the way from the top, go through the spiel. Shout out to Rosie. She suggested we do a stream. Hopefully, this time it works on the second go around. Shout out to Thunder and B, who seconded it in the Discord. So that is why we're streaming. And before we get to any stories at all, I want to give a shout out to Gloctopus and Miss Gloctopus as they welcomed Gloctopus Jr. Into the world. It's always a good day when new life is brought into the world. So shout out to them and good on them. All right, here's the stories that I missed and should have probably made a video about, but just didn't get to it this week because I assumed everybody was going to be focused on the Super Bowl. After a while of doing YouTube, you kind of read the room, but this time I read the room wrong because you guys got a hold of me and said, you should at least do a stream. So here we go. Gasoline, this is from Adam Stern, and I found it on Jayski. Gasoline distributor Sunoco's longtime sponsorship as the official fuel of NASCAR expires in 2025. According to people familiar with the matter, sides are heading into the start of the season with no extension having been reached. So it looks like from that, they might still be in talks, and they do confirm it later in here where it says marketing director Fred McConnell told the Sports Business Journal, we can confirm that we are in talks with NASCAR about the 2026 season and beyond. But it also says that NASCAR said it is expected to hold talks with other brands in that category in the coming weeks and months. And the other thing from this article that was of interest was that in 2017, Sunoco sold over 1,100 of its convenience stores to 7-Eleven for $3.3 billion in a deal that was reported at the time started Sunoco's shift from business to consumer or customer to a more business to business focused fuel supplier. So that opens the door for a few things right there. Sunoco, if they don't come back, but Sunoco could come back, so you could just have business as usual and Sunoco comes back. But what if Unical 76 decided that they want to come back? Because obviously, for a long period of time, they were the official fuel sponsor of NASCAR. They're of course owned by Chevron, who also owns Texaco, Haviland, Gulf, and Techron, as well as the 76 and Sunoco brands. So they could come back as well if Chevron saw that as a viable way. If Sunoco doesn't want to come back, the other big sort of fuel conglomerate that could come back there would be Shell Pennzoil. You see them sponsor race cars all the time. They are officially the Royal Dutch Shell Company. So you could see them being one of the fuel suppliers that NASCAR looks forward to in the future. And any of those companies would kind of be business as usual, no doubt about it. However, there are a few companies, and they mentioned 7-Eleven in that one. And I think at Texas Motor Speedway, they have a really huge 7-Eleven that is only open during race weekends. And that is an aspect of it that kind of piques my interest. Like if a 7-Eleven or a Wawa or a Sheetz decided that they wanted to sponsor the series and do something with it like that, that would 100 add a element to the fan experience because they could put pop-up convenience stores or permanent real convenience stores at the racetracks that could serve fans. That would be just an added amenity to NASCAR races that would be really, really just a absolute cool deal. So I can 100% see that happening, especially if you get to the Sheetz Wawa thing where Sheetz and Wawa are always going back and forth with each other. And then 7-Eleven is just kind of over here on its own island doing its own thing. 7-Eleven just always trying to up the game in their own way. 7-Eleven with an absolute cult following, the same as Wawa and Sheetz, honestly. So all three of those brands have like a cult following. So that would be a really cool aspect of it as well. Going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. NASCAR Hall of Fame had its induction ceremony, and Ricky Rudd, Carl Edwards, and Ralph Moody were voted in on the driver's side, the late Ralph Moody. The other two, of course, still with us. The big news about Carl Edwards, Kyle Larson wants him to test drive his car or test the car for him for the All-Star race, and they seem like they're maybe going to try to get something together to make that happen. Maybe they're not. Carl Edwards said he'd probably spin out a car at this point in his career, so it'll be interesting to see if that comes together, but that's sort of the big thing that Kyle Larson is trying to push, trying to get Carl Edwards back into a car. All the Carl Edwards fans would be definitely super stoked about that. I haven't seen the speeches, but I have heard a lot of people talk about Ricky Rudd and Carl Edwards' speeches were pretty good. So I'll have to go check those out as well. But Ricky Rudd, the Iron Man, what more can you say about him? I mean, owned his own team, won races, did everything but win a championship. But it was in an era that was really hard to win a championship as well. Also on the contributor side, Dean Sicking, a accomplished storyteller, but probably more well known for his safety innovations and things like that. He was inducted, and Mike Harris, press reporter Mike Harris, he was also inducted as well. He was a storyteller. I read that sentence wrong, but Dean Sicking in there for the safety innovations. I think Dean Sicking came up with the safer wall. Let me Google that real quick. I can't remember. I remember his name, and I can't remember what he did. Yeah, he came up with the safer barrier. I did. I remembered something. Hooray! All right, so there we go. Those were kind of the big stories, and then of course we got the game today. Jalen Hurts. These are postseason stats from ESPN. Jalen Hurts 505 passing, Saquon Barkley 442 rushing, Dallas Goedert leading receiver for the Eagles 188, 26 tackles for Zach Braun, and 2 interceptions for Quentin Mitchell. On paper, they've had a better postseason than the KC Chiefs. 422 passing for Mahomes, 108 for Kareem Hunt, 136 receiving for Travis Kelce. Drew Tranquil with 14 tackles. Nobody with an interception thus far for the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are trying to do something that has never been done before, and that is win 3 Super Bowls in a row, and they've already made history by going to 3, going to the 3rd Super Bowl after winning the first 2. Obviously, the Buffalo Bills went to 4 in a row, but they didn't win any of them, which sucks for Buffalo fans. But and a lot of people want to see Buffalo win. But there is the poll question right there as far as that goes, because a lot of people are watching this game, regardless of if you're a NASCAR fan or not. So I thought I would at least touch on it. 39 votes in so far. Who wins? The Eagles, Kansas City, the refs, are not the fans. Right now, 33% tie for not the fans and the Eagles right now. 18% for the refs, 15% for Kansas City. Poll's only been up for 7 minutes. So get your vote in if you want to. Now I'll jump into the chat and see what you guys want to talk about. All right, attempt number 2. What's up, Dirty Diff? Let's see. Hope this one works, says B. Elise is praying. So it looks like the prayers have been answered. This one is possibly working. He's back. What's up, Mark Barnum? Jeremy Heath, what's up, my man? What's up in between the lanes? Dennis Gillespie, aloha, my man, to the big island and the small islands out there in Hawaii. There is the merch link. Much appreciated there, Elise. If you want to get a sweatshirt, t-shirt, hat, stickers, and whatever else we got up on there right now. I can't really remember. I remember the big orange balls, says Dennis Gillespie. So that was the really cool thing about Sunoco. Probably the one thing that they're sort of remembered for. They had the really big spotter balls at Daytona and Talladega, and that's where there was just a really big Sunoco ball, but they had windows cut out in them, and you could climb up there and spot from them. If you want to see one in real life that is you can still climb up to, Carteret County Speedway has one of the last ones, and the story behind that is Bobby Watson, who was running Carteret County before we lost him, rest in peace, and as well as Junior Johnson. They were buddies. Also, rest in peace to Junior Johnson. They were buddies, and they were riding around. And Junior Johnson said, "I know where one of those." Bobby Watson said, I wish I had one of those Sunoco balls, because if you've ever been to Carteret, it's sort of like a museum and a racetrack. Really cool venue. If you ever get a chance to go out to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, check that one out. So he was like, "Man, I need a Sunoco spotter ball." And Junior Johnson was like, "Well, I tell you what, I know where we can get us one." So Junior Johnson, I don't know how they got it onto the trailer or anything like that, but as the legend goes, that's how the Sunoco ball ended up at Carteret County. Junior Johnson said, "I know where we can get one," and they went and rode out and got him one. So that's the story behind that. One of the rare moments I can share a short track story, inside joke. Let's see. Thunderstrikes, I think Sunoco will stay on board. They have marketed their entire company based on NASCAR, says Thunderstrikes. I'm with you. I don't necessarily see them going away, but it's just interesting that so much smoke. It's the off season. I think people just wanted to talk about something. Let's see. Trump Oil Company will be the sponsor, says Mark Barnum. 7-Eleven also owns the Speedways as well, says Dirty Duff. Also, Speedways, I think they own a Kangaroo around here too. There's a Circle K or Kangaroo gas around here that they also own. I'm ready for Daytona, says Drifty Puddles. Ryan saying, happy Super Bowl, everyone, and have fun and stay safe. However, you're getting down today. Only 1 week to Daytona for sure. If you're going to be overserved, make sure you use an Uber. That car will be there the next day. Don't worry about it, unless you live in Philly. If win or lose, I feel like stuff's going to get tore up in Philly. Wawa is goated, says on the high sides. There you go. That's a huge debate. You're either a Sheets person or a Wawa person. I think they're both housed out of Pennsylvania, possibly both housed out of Philadelphia. But I know they're both, if I remember correctly, both housed out of Pennsylvania. Period. So that's a big deal up there. Wawa or Sheets. My buddies that come from that region, Westchester, the Westchester area, they were always big Wawa guys. So I'm an RCR guy, so I lean towards Sheets just based on the fact that Sheets sponsored an RCR car. But in all honesty, I have no real preference. But I have been to Wawa. Wawa it's totally different experiences. But Wawa has really good food. Sheets has really good food. I say if you're getting a sub, I would go Wawa. If you're getting like fried junk food, like comfort food, I would go Sheets as far as the food goes. But it sort of is what it is. It's all up to preference. Enjoyed watching Rudd's and Carl's speeches, one of the Hall of Fame classes in recent memory. Hoping for Banjo Matthews, Neil Bonnet, and Harry Gant to be inducted in 2026, says Matt Hunter. That's a good list right there. And for a contributor, I hope one day they put Smokey Unick in there as well. So those would all be good picks. I would add for contributor to be Smokey Unick. But yeah, I'm with you. I want to see Gant in there really bad. Hello, Blunderberger. William Wagaman, what's up, buddy? 1 week till you know what breaks loose about Sunoco leaving NASCAR. I don't think too much involvement. I don't think it'll happen. Too much involvement overall in the racing world. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't necessarily see him leaving, but it's one of those things. The contract is ending, so it could possibly happen. In between the lanes, saying the Puppy Bowl is on TV. Puppy Bowl, always a good deal. That is the one thing about the Super Bowl. I will say that does interest me. The Kendrick Lamar halftime performance. Will he roast Drake? Will he roast Dr. Drake? Will he roast Drake? That's kind of what I'm just gonna watch till halftime, unless it's like a really good game up until halftime. But if it's any type of blowout, I'm watching till halftime, and then I'm back to the grind, working on projects over here in my work corner in the other room over there. Booba, what's up, my dude? Heart says Eagles, brain says Chiefs. Yeah, it's a tough call. Like if I was honestly picking the game, like all jokes aside with the refs and the fans losing, I don't know, man. It's a hard one to pick. They're both really good teams. Like maybe a slight edge in experience at quarterback for the Chiefs and just what Patrick Mahomes can do over Jalen Hurts. But is it really that much of an advantage? Definitely a better run game with the Eagles with Saquon Barkley. And the defense, according to the statistics I just read in the postseason, the Eagles do have an advantage on defense. But then you got Steve Spagnuolo over there for the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, I would not put money on this game. Like I'll just be honest with you. It's so close. I don't like, unless you just really want to do it for the fun of it. Like that's it. I don't think you can really pick this game. So it is what it is. It was the safer barrier, says Bumblebee. So Bumblebee confirming. I did randomly remember something. Thank goodness. I thought his name was associated with that, but I wasn't sure because like as soon as it goes live, all your knowledge just goes out of your head, and you say something, you're like, oh God, is that right? Let me go check it real quick. So I did remember that one correctly. Thank goodness. I'd watch, and if he did come up with a safer barrier, 100%, he definitely needs to be in the Hall of Fame for that because it has helped out quite a bit. I'd watch the Puppy Bowl, but I'm a Raptors fan, says Thunder Strikes. So Thunder are going to be watching the Toronto Raptors. I don't know if you remember back in the day, the Blue Jays in the World Series, their jerseys were misspelled. Whoever made the jerseys back then misspelled the jerseys. It wasn't Toronto, it was Toronto. They misplaced the R and the O in that one. Random callback, but that's what the ADD does. So we're going to fight through it. Is Biden playing in the Puppy Bowl, says Mark Barnum. Law of averages says the Eagles win. Philly has been in Super Bowls and only won as only once, says Mick. So that is one law of averages. The other law of averages is nobody has won 3 Super Bowls in a row. Although the Kansas City Chiefs have already done something. Anybody that's won 2 Super Bowls has not made it back to the Super Bowl after winning 2 in a row. So they've made some history there. Of course, Buffalo with the most I think off the top of my head, I think Buffalo has the most Super Bowls in a row, went to 4 in a row. Unfortunately, did not win any of them. So hopefully one day the Bills get them their Super Bowl. Whenever the 49ers are knocked out, I'm always pulling for the Bills to get them a Super Bowl. I just want to see that happen one day before I peace out on this planet. The only thing the Puppy Bowl gets paid off with is our love and kindness to shelter animals all over the world, says William Wagaman. So it is for a good cause. I actually never knew that about the Puppy Bowl. I've never honestly watched it. I've seen some of the highlights back in the day when you could put stuff like that on YouTube, like 2008 to 2010, before everything got copyright strike. I just watched all the cute clips and stuff like that. John Mick, 5 Super Bowls overall. I guess Philly's been to 5 and only won 1. Let's see. So that's a bad that's a bad statistical average. Try saying that really fast with ADD. Who would be your two picks to get in the Hall of Fame next year? My pick is Harry Gant and Greg Biffle. Ooh, the Biff would be a good one. I think Harry Gant gets in. I really want to see Smokey Unit get in. Other than that, I feel like it's a coin flip. Greg Biffle would be a good one though. I'd love to see the Biff get in there. I'm with you. We'll campaign hard. Hopefully, we can get some traction behind the Biff getting in there. Really hope there's so many. They've narrowed it down where they only let so many in now. It's going to be really hard for some of these guys to get in. Uh, it's just going to be a log jam as time goes on. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. I really hope Harry gets in while he's still around so he can enjoy it. That's a good point too. I definitely want to see that. In between the lanes, BB, have you seen Logano's 500 scheme and Hamlin's national debt relief scheme? I've seen Logano's scheme. I like that one. National debt relief, I haven't seen yet. Although, who was talking about that? Somebody said it's ugly and they're not going to buy a hat. Was that CeeLo? Check out CeeLo. CeeLo does a live. He put together a live preseason thing too. So go check out CeeLo on the Ghost channel. He put together a nice preseason video. So go check that out. But he was talking about the Denny Hamlin National Debt Relief paint scheme, and he said he can't. He's a big Denny Hamlin fan, but he said he can't get behind that one. Both available for pre-order, along with Martin Truex Jr.'s Bass Pro Shop Camry, the number 56. Also a good-looking car for Martin Truex Jr. that will be attempting to qualify for the Daytona 500. I don't think he's locked in like Elio is. Chris Villegas says, if Anheuser-Busch comes back as a title sponsor, will it be Busch or Busch Light? Ooh, that's a good question. Will it be the Busch Grand National Series if they come back too, or will they go with Busch Light Grand National Series, or will it just be the Busch Series? I think as they sort of deemed it later. That's a good question. I'll be watching the real Super Bowl, Daytona 500, and Super Bowl of auto racing, says Jake McVeigh. Yeah, a lot of people don't care about the Super Bowl. I'm one of them. I'm just watching until halftime to see if Drake gets dissed by Kendrick. NASCAR was talking. Kyle Busch wins the Super Bowl, says in between the lanes. That's actually who I'm, spoiler alert, that's who I am going to pick to win the Daytona 500 as well. NASCAR was talking to their current 3 OEMs about future engines, architecture, and car templates, and how the car industry is going. That's going to be super interesting to see how all that plays out. Brad Keselowski talked with Kelly Earnhardt. I think it was on the Kelly Earnhardt's podcast on Dirty Mo about that, and he had some interesting thoughts. That's a video I am hopefully going to get to one day before I die. I've never been there. Do you have an impression of the way people talk who live in the Outer Banks? High-toiters. I can't do that accent. But even from North Carolina, unless you live there, and I lived in Eastern North Carolina for a good long while, and I've got some buddies down there that could understand it, but it is. Yeah, some of those words and phrases you can't understand, but for the most part, I can understand it. But they do have some phrases I'm like, what'd he say? So yeah, if you live there, I guess you can understand it. But I can't personally do the impression. I don't have a good one as far as that goes. As a lifelong Redskins fan, I cannot, in good conscience, pay for that bird team from Philly, or pull for the bird team from Philly. I got you. I guess I have to root for the other Indian name team in the NFL. So there you go. Ryan going with the Chiefs. I know OJ and Toothpaste, usually in the chat, he's going for the Chiefs because he likes Patrick Mahomes, although he is usually a Colts man. I used the Dale Earnhardt senior meme today talking about a week away from Daytona. Yeah. Super Bowl, that just means we're 1 week away from Daytona. The classic Dale Earnhardt meme. Wawa in the Mid-Atlantic, says Badlands Bandit. So Wawa is a Badlands pick. Bucky's in the South. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I feel like everybody in the South goes with Bucky's, like North Carolina, Texas, Tennessee. That's Bucky's territory. Casey's in the Midwest. Casey's Pizzas. Everybody talks about the pizzas from Casey's. Everybody in the Midwest is like, man, you need to come out to the Midwest and get a Casey's pizza. That's just like one of those things you do, kind of like a Martinsville hot dog. So definitely need to check that out. Smokey Unick and Mike Joy. William Wagaman, good one. Mike Joy definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. Smokey Unick and Mike Joy should be the next two people nominated in place at the Hall of Fame for sure. On the non-racing or racing contributor side, I'm with you. That's 100% good looking out there. I agree with that. So that we got that locked in. We want to see Biffle. We want to see Gant. We want to see Mike Joy. We want to see Smokey Unick, and then that leaves one extra spot for a usually it's an old time racer that's passed away and left us. So that leaves us one spot for that. 7-Eleven is proud to be the official convenience stores in between the lanes. It says in between the lanes. There you go. Quick Trip is underrated for as far as convenience stores goes. We got a few of those around here, but near me, the convenience stores near me, I don't have anything fancy like that. I got like a BP and a Shell. It's just like the actual, I don't know, the gasoline company itself. Talking about Hall of Fame resumes, it won't ever get brought up that Harry Gant won 3 late model sportsman division titles, sanctioned by NASCAR 72, 73, 74. It should be though. You know what? We can make it be brought up, which would later become the Busch Series. So we can definitely we can make that be something that gets brought up. Sheets is out of the Pittsburgh area. Wawa or whatever is out of the Philadelphia area. So they're both from Pennsylvania, but one's from Pittsburgh and one's from Philly. Okay, so that clears that up. Appreciate you there, William. Wagaman dropping some knowledge in there. There can we don't need any more Wawas in the New York area. So New York apparently is overrun with Wawas. Let's see. Is there a Bologna Burger NASCAR Fantasy League? I'm looking to join one, says Ryan. NASCAR Mouth wanted me to make one, and I always forget. I apologize. He's one of my friends on Twitter, buddies on Twitter. I need to reach out and see if he's still doing a league. I don't know. It's not something I'm good at organizing. So maybe if somebody wants to organize it for me, I'll join in and I'll make my picks and stuff like that. But I don't know. I can't be the commish of a league, but maybe we can get something going. If we do get something going on one of the live streams, I'll talk about it and we'll get that going there for sure. But that is something I need to think about doing. I know a lot of people play fantasy. Hey, BB, I woke up sore today. I was in the ER last night. Oh, man, that sucks. I had 11 golf balls removed from my Coco Sin Cave. Not sure how they got there. Hey, you know what? Sometimes the liquor does the talking. Hashtag Jim Leahy. But I'm resting today and eating Costco hot dogs, extra onion. For sure, my friend. For sure. Just lay down. Don't move. I'm sure it's a painful situation, but you can fight through it. If anybody can do it, we believe in you, John. 11 golf balls, though. That is impressive. That is impressive. I don't know how big a golf ball is, but that's getting it done, my friend. All of my bets and props and yards and touchdown bets. John P. with the best creative fiction of all time. He is a veteran and a legend of the channel. All my bets and prop bets and yards and TD bets. So that's a good point. You don't actually have to bet on like the winner of the game itself. So that's another thing. If you're into that type of thing, you can do. Of course, gamble responsibly. A lot of people cannot do that. So if you can't do that, don't do that. When do you and your crew start racing? Usually around March. We kick off. So my off season's still kicking. So usually mid-March or something like that. We'll start testing here before too long, though. We were going to test this week, but the weather didn't cooperate. We were going to test this week coming up. Looking like the weather is going to be crap. Although it's like 70. It's like 70. It was freezing yesterday. It's like 70 something today. And then we're going to go back to possible. We got a chance of snow, I think, either on Monday. Or last I looked at the weather, which I hardly ever look at it. Either Monday or Tuesday, I think we got a chance for snow. And with the Super Bowl and with the possible bad weather threat, went to the grocery store yesterday. They just didn't have anything. So that was a miss. Anyway, yeah, close call, says Booba. Yeah, I think the game itself is going to be close call. Saquon Barkley and Cooper DeJean birthdays are today. Hey, there you go. So maybe you get like a birthday performance. The refs will help Kansas City if they need it, says Joseph Wooten. So Joseph Wooten on the ref gang. Andy Reid is the wild card in the Super Bowl. Guy always has a wrinkle that he throws in. Yeah, so when he's got an extra day or an extra week, I'm sorry, to sort of game plan for it, he's always dangerous there. Joke of a game, says Mark Langren. It is a joke of a game, according to Mark Langren. So there we go. We got the laugh track in there. We're dangerous now. I got a soundboard, and I will occasionally use it. Probably not. I'll forget about it after this week. Yeah, let's get in BB Fantasy League going, says Lloyd Barnes. Mark Langren with a thumbs up. Let's go. Let's freaking go. BB says, Russell Dominguez, what's up, Russell? Both Hall of Fame speeches were good, but I learned a little bit in Carl's speech. He said that crashing out and running for a championship in the final laps in 2016 was the best thing that ever happened to him, says Dirty Def. Okay, so that's interesting. I definitely need to check out the speeches now. I got really involved in a project, and I have not have not been functioning in the rest of real life. I need to snap out of it. How's NASCAR going to screw up the 500? Says Mark Langren. I don't know. Hopefully, it's a great race. I'm going to stay on the positive side. I need to race Caraway, Kinley, Hickory, Rockingham for the All-Star race, says Cuttawisky Ramblings. So a lot of people are talking about that. Just move the clash around, and it'll help refurbish some of those places that need it. Dale Jr. did bring up a good point when mentioning Hickory. He said he would love to see a race there, and physically, from the track standpoint, they could hold the race, but could they hold the fans? Is the infrastructure there to hold the fan experience for the fans for something like that? That would be the real question. So that is a good point that he brought up in the Dale Jr. download. Check that one out when he's talking about that, because he makes a lot of good points in that one. So he brought up some interesting points as far as that. Now, as far as South Boston goes, South Boston could definitely hold it, because South Boston had the SRX experience. That place was packed out. So even adding extra stands and stuff like that, South Boston could definitely hold it. I would say Dominion over there off of 85. I think it's off of 85 going to Virginia. They could probably handle it as far as a short track goes. So there are some out there that could definitely handle it. The Carl Edwards speech was very telling. Still hate the way he left and retired, but I understand why he did, says Napa Racing Fan. The choking aesthetic team at the Super Bowl, the Vikings, says Mark Langren. I'm not mad about the Vikings choking this year. I know you're talking about Super Bowl, going to the Super Bowl and choking. The Lions are the one that I did not see them not getting further in the playoffs than they got. That was I was very surprised by that financially. Howdy from Canuckistan. Harry Gant was great, says Robin Marks. For sure. Harry Gant, I think he'll probably be in the next class if I'm guessing, but that's, like I said, just a guess. Edwards is one of the biggest what-if stories in the sports history. For sure. BD found out today that it looks like Aaron Rodgers' era as the Jets quarterback is over. So for the first time in 2 years, the Jets are looking for a quarterback. But it feels like old times are new again, because I feel like every year for a long time before they got Aaron Rodgers, they were looking for a quarterback. So old is new again in New York. It was also good to see tough as nails Ricky Rudd get into, for sure, the Iron Man, and he owned his own team and won races and did well. He's had a very storied career. We'll try this again. Young Money finally got his alligators, the big one and the little one, and the expense of the World of Outlaws this weekend. I predict he will kick their butt this weekend in NASCAR. That'll be really cool. It sounded like him and Christopher Bell had a pretty good battle. I didn't see the race. I heard when the streaming was going on Flow, it was like it was getting glitchy and not acting right. Which, ironically, that's what I was talking about when my first attempt at this earlier today glitched out and didn't act right. You could say that Hamlin's national debt relief scheme pretty much follows his FedEx scheme from last season. Okay, so it's similar to the FedEx scheme. Adding, maybe he was just talking about the hat was ugly, so I don't know. I'll have to take a look at it. I haven't actually seen the scheme yet. Adding more to my question, you think we could see road courses in at least 2 rounds of the playoffs? I would like to see maybe 3 road courses, says Mike Menzer. NASCAR is funny about it. Maybe in the future we'll see more than 1 road course, but I think as it stands right now, it's only going to be one road course in the 10 race playoff, unless they change the 10 race playoff or something like that. Blaney was a guest on Door Bumper Clear. Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people like that episode. So he opened up about a few things there. IndyCar has 3 ads for today's Super Bowl TV window. NASCAR has 1 lousy Daytona 500 ad, says Napa Race Fan. But we do have a Ross Chastain commercial. He is going to have the circles with the Busch Light guy. So that commercial, we've already seen that one if you watched the Clash at Bowman Gray, but they're gonna have that advertisement in there as well. So we got a race car driver in a Super Bowl commercial, so that's really, really cool. Not a race fan saying NASCAR. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. I actually picked up on that one. What's up, everybody? What's up, one wise guy? Good to see you on here, my dude. Blaney is my pick for the 500. That's not a bad pick. That's not a bad pick. Any of the Penske cars are pretty good there. Go Colts. Hope we get our shiz together, says Russell Dominguez. So yeah, there you go. OJ and Toothpaste, also a Colts fan. So there you have it. I think David Land. I know David Land's a Colts fan because he lives up there in Indianapolis or Indiana somewhere. I grew up east of I-95 near the VA. I don't know David Land. I just watch his channel from time to time. Near the VA NC border, they speak Old English in Wanchese, Ocracoke, and Portsmouth Island. Says Cut a Whiskey. So there you go. There's your language barrier. That I can't do that accent though. I can't even do the language. I don't know. I don't even know the words and the phrases. But some of it, for me, you can understand. Some of it, a couple of their phrases, I can't pick up on. Are you sure Speedway is owned by 7-Eleven? Says Mark Langren. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what 7-Eleven owns. We can pull it up real quick though. Let's see. Try 7-Eleven brands here. According to AI Google search, which could be anything, it says 7-Eleven owns 7-Eleven, owns Speedway brands, owns Stripes brands, owns the Laredo Taco Company, Raise the Roost Chicken and Biscuits, and 7 Fleet Diesel Network. Let's see. And that's the only ones I see off the top. So Stripes, Speedway, and 7-Eleven seem to all be the same company. Laredo Taco Company and Raise the Roost Chicken and Biscuits, according to Google AI search. So that's that. Let's see. Ernie Irvan is a Hall of Famer in my opinion. I think Ernie Irvan gets there too. I'm with you. How about Hunt Brothers Pizza Fuel as the new sponsor? Says Sir Wood Rooster. I did see an interesting stat that Hunt Brothers sells more pizza than anybody else. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I saw somebody talking about that on YouTube. I didn't fact check them, but they were talking about that. So that's super interesting because as much as I bash, close your ears, Rosie. Rosie, close your ears. As much as I bash Little Caesars, Hunt Brothers Pizza by far tastes worse. By far, like not even close. Like the Grab a Hunk Hunt Brothers Pizza. It's usually been sitting for like 5 days too, so that's part of the problem. But it is what it is. Anyway, moving right along. One wise guy dropped the merch link. Appreciate you there, one wise guy. Midwest is Q Trip. Oh yeah, there was what was the other one? It had like a risque name in the Midwest, but they got somebody bought them out and changed them all over. Oh man, what was that? I can't remember. Somebody from the Midwest hit me up down there. You know what I'm talking about. It had like a risque name. Was it Come and Go? Come and Go. Come and Go is no longer. They have rebranded all of those, but there used to be a Come and Go in the Midwest. Already posted it earlier. Wise LOL says Elise. Speaking of Hunt Brothers, congrats. But we can keep posting it. It's not going to hurt. So I appreciate both of y'all. Both of y'all are on point and much appreciated. Speaking of Hunt Brothers, congrats to Keelan for winning his first race. I did see that. He won the Icebreaker in Florence in the Limiteds. So congrats to Keelan Harvick. Is that his first win in a full body car? So that's cool. A limited late model, I think, was what he was driving. Mike Cox won the late model race. So shout out to Mike Cox down there. Pretty stout field as well in that one. Here in Alabama, it's mostly Circle K's, Raceway, Racetrack. Yeah, we got a lot of those too. A lot of those. When Q Trip brought in their new machine for fried rolls from Italy, it didn't work. Went a week in a wonderful lacrosse making the machine work. I spent a week in wonderful lacrosse making the machine work, says Mark Langren. It's difficult. We had when I was working in the factory, we had a Italian company, Marzoli, and when their stuff worked, it worked better than anything. But when it didn't work, it was a absolute nightmare to get it running. So I didn't work on that particular. My stuff was was either German or Austrian, because all my paperwork was in German. So I think it was German, or was it a Norwegian company? Anyway, Scandinavian or German. But it was all written in German. So I feel like it was engineered and designed by Germans. So my stuff ran forever. Like as long as you did the maintenance on mine, didn't have no problems with it. I had a pretty good machine to be working on when I did factory work. That's for sure. But the Marzoli gang, I prayed for them because and when I could, I pitched in and helped them. I wasn't much help though because it was a very complex machine. Italian engineering goes for complexity, whereas German engineering goes for functionality. I guess at least in back in that era from the machines I was working on. Anyway, tangent. ADD. Do you like this new tire and wheel? I feel like it's too many failures. I missed the lug nuts. The sidewall. I would say the sidewall is probably with this tire the biggest issue, but that's what the OEMs wanted. That's what the manufacturers wanted. So don't blame NASCAR on that one. That is 100% blame Chevrolet, blame Ford, blame Toyota for begging for that one. You can't. I'll stick up for NASCAR on that one. Can't blame NASCAR on that one. It's cold up here, single digits, says Mark Langren. I feel for you, man. I'm from the South, so I don't do cold weather. I do not like it at all. Uh, I forgot there's a lot of marathon stations as well. We have a few marathons, but mostly the other ones you mentioned. I see a lot more of those. Got snow by me, says in between the lanes, listening to the liquor bubs. JK just fighting brother, says Russell Dominguez. Let's see. Joseph Wooten, Bologna Burger, NASCAR Fantasy League. I'm in if you get one set up, says Joseph. All right, so I'll talk to somebody. Maybe we can get something going there. Bologna Burger, that is York, PA, not New York. Oh, okay. I got you. My bad. I totally misread that one. Trying to read too fast. That's on me. Not New York. God, don't insult any. Don't. Oh, sorry about that, William. Mea culpa, my friend. Mea culpa. Let me look. Mea culpa, William. Apologies. Let's see. Laughing my butt off. The laugh track is back. Says, hey, there we go. Thunderstrike. There's some laugh track for you. There's some laugh track for you, Thunder. I'd be happy to start a race league if we can get enough interest. Yeah. So we'll figure it out. We'll try to get something going here. Seems like that is a popular thing that I've just forgotten about, neglected, whatever you want to say it. It's on me either way. So we'll see if we can get something going. Petro Ward is the latest IndyCar driver to be in a commercial. For sure. And that's the only time I'm going to try to say his name. So I'm just going to go with Mr. Ward after this, or Mr. O Ward. Got lots of golf balls. Was liquored up bad and felt the pain at 2 a.m. The surgeon looked at me weird. Said, next time, only do 8. Then he said, trust me, bro. We bonded and swapped numbers. Hey, there you go. Love finds a way. So as much pain as you're in now, at least you know you got a Valentine's Day date, John P. Let's see. I brought the laugh track back. I joked on it last stream that you replaced the laugh track with buffering. I did. So I saw all your comments from last stream and I was reading them and rambling away, but I guess you guys weren't seeing it. So I did read the vast majority of comments from the last stream. Always down for a league, says Russell. Early forecast for the Daytona, 79 degrees, 24% chance of rain. It's Florida. So, yeah, I feel like Florida, you always got a quarter chance for rain at any given moment, kind of like the mountains of North Carolina. Has there been more wrecks or cautions in the 500 since the Clash moved away from Daytona, says Chris? That's an interesting stat. I would have to look that up. Camaro, what's up, my dude? Good to see you on here, buddy. You can use the laugh track after next weekend's race, says William Wagaman. I appreciate your sense of humor. The Detroit financially was funny, true but funny, says one wise guy. It hurt me, man. I had them locked in as a win. I'm not even hating on Detroit. It just it hurt me financially. So I saw that as a stone cold lead pipe lock, which there's no such thing as, and swing and a miss. What can you do? That's life. Have you had a chance to listen to the new Dale Jr. interview with Richard Childress yet? It's a good one. For sure. I have listened to it dirty death. Went up to RCR this weekend too. Took some pictures. I didn't really film anything. I didn't call or ask anybody. It was just a quick trip. So shout out to Cousin Kendall. Cousin Kendall gave me the ride up there. Also met up with Riley Neal and Mike Brown. Who? Mike Brown. What? Mike Brown. So we met up there with them. And had a good time. Hung out with them for a little bit. Did the tour. Great facility. This is where this the new T-shirt came from. Elite, if you're watching, I forgot to get you your Austin Dillon T-shirt. I know you're upset about that, but we'll get you straight next time. Elite, huge Austin Dillon fan, so we'll get him straight next time. I'm being sarcastic. He's not a he doesn't hate Austin Dillon, but he's not a huge fan. Let's see. Let's see. It was funny that Richard chewed out Dale Jr. This past year at Phoenix. Yeah, for sure. He had a bone to pick with Jr. and they talked about that. So that was a pretty cool. Watch the whole interview. That one's really good. And then the one with Kelly Earnhardt and Brad Keselowski, I would watch that one too. And then a lot of people are talking about Door Bumper Clear with Ryan Blaney, so I would check that one out as well. Dirty Mo Media starting the year off with a bang. Got some fire content. Carson Elledge, she's going to have a TV show or a podcast or whatever as well. I forget the name of it, but she's got one coming up. And Andrew, what's his name? He's got like a thing where he's walking around and interviewing fans now too. I watched some of that. That's pretty laid back. That's pretty good. So he's doing a good job with that too. They're branching out, doing all kinds of things over there. So check them out if you haven't checked out. Not that they freaking need my help because it's huge and gigantic, but they're doing good things over there. Shout out to Mike Davis. He is the mastermind behind all that. Keep it a one road course when it comes to the playoffs. Also, my opinion, Cup should have 6 total road course and super speedway races. Xfinity should have 8, and trucks should only have 3. Says Thunder Strikes. Dale Jr. should have Edwards and Rudd on the download. I'm pretty sure they're coming. I'm pretty sure they're coming. I think that's on its. I think they're going to work on it. How mad will fans be this year about Cup races, the first half of the season and practice and qualifying being on Prime Video? To be honest with you, Napa, I think a lot of guys are going to find out that their wives already have Amazon Prime for them because they've been ordering a bunch of packages and stuff. So I think a lot of people are going to find out that they actually have Amazon Prime and they just didn't know about it. So Amazon Prime, believe it or not, has more subscribers right now than cable, which is crazy to think about. So I think. Now, don't get me wrong. There's definitely going to be some people that are definitely mad. I've already seen that in the comment section, so I'm not negating what they're saying at all. But I think a lot of people are going to be surprised to find out that, hey, my wife's already got Amazon Prime. So we're good. Let's see. Yes, they own Speedway. The reason, or whoever does the shopping, it could be the husband that owns it. So, whatever. It is what it is. Yes, they own Speedway. The reason I know is they're building one right outside of Talladega in that area that I work, says Dirty Deaf. Talking about 7-Eleven owns Speedway. And the reason I knew it is because back in the day, I don't know if you remember the Coca-Cola cans that had the driver faces on them. I didn't have a 7-Eleven near me, but they were like, you could also get them at Speedway. So I went to Speedway and they had them. So I was like, well, I knew they were somehow connected or whatever. So I had an inkling, but I never knew for sure. So we looked it up though, and it is a fact. 7-Eleven actually owns Speedway. So we confirmed. That rumor is confirmed. Let's see. Wait till you see the Gatorade commercial with Caitlin Clark. Several teams could use her as quarterback, says Mark Barnum. I'll have to check that one out. So that's the other thing, I guess, you watch the Super Bowl for, check out the commercials. The best thing that I'm going to do about Prime coming over to NASCAR is turn the TV off and turn the radio on and leave it there because Prime will suck, says William Wagaman. So from an ethical standpoint, there is also a lot of people that are boycotting Amazon just because they don't like Jeff Bezos and stuff like that. Some of the they don't treat the workers right. There's all kinds of reasons people may or may not like Amazon. So there is that aspect to it as well. I try not to talk about politics or really get into that because, like, God knows you get plenty of that everywhere else in the world. So I try to keep it erasing. But I did want to at least acknowledge that is some of it. Rosie, I think talking about the Little Caesars deal, Little Caesars does have like a stuffed crust pizza now, and that's my biggest beef with Little Caesars is the crust. So maybe I'll try the stuffed crust pizza. Let's see. Get off the individual Red Baron gang and try a stuffed crust pizza from Hot and Ready Little Caesars. Mark Barnum, come and go. So that's it with a K. So I had it wrong. I had it wrong in my head, but come and go with a K. Which makes it less funny, but also kind of makes it more funny. No longer a thing. They're rebranding all the come and goes. Come and go was Iowa, says Mark Langren. Casey's bought come and go. Oh, Casey's ruined the fun for everybody. CC's Pizza is worse. It's basically a cardboard box, says Joseph Wooten. Man, I haven't had CC's since like, God, 2003. So yeah, I couldn't, I couldn't speak to them, but I don't think I liked it back then either. I thought Hunt Brothers and Domino's are both cardboard box pizzas. I can't talk no junk about Domino's because the guy at Domino's, shout out to Jimmy, he always helps us out after the races. He keeps the Domino's open long enough to get us fed. So I'm not gonna say anything bad about Domino's, but yeah, I'm not a Hunt Brothers supporter. I don't like, and part of it is because they cook the pizzas in the morning or something and just leave them for the next 3 days until they're so hard that you can't possibly eat them without breaking a jaw, much less a tooth. I learned a lot of S words in Italian. In Italian, says Mark Langren. I got you, brother. So do you think, Junior? I learned quite a bit of German back then. A lot of cognates in the German language. It's not as difficult to understand relative to English. Same thing with Norwegian, which I practice. I practice learning a little bit of Norwegian from time to time. Let's see. And I was forced to learn Spanish in high school. Do you think JRM will make the Daytona 500 field? And what is your thoughts? Do you think JRM will go full time Cup soon? I think they want to, but I just think financially it has to make sense for them. So I don't know. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I don't know what they're looking for as far as that goes. But if they do it, I think they'll do it as like a partnership with somebody. F1 movie release for theaters in summer of this year. When will we see Days of Thunder 2? Says Napa Race fan. Well, they haven't started filming Days of Thunder 2, so it's at least 2 to 3 years away if they actually greenlight it and get it filming. But the F1 movie, I am actually looking forward to that. I can run a Panamera in the league, says Mark Langren. Hey, there you go. It counts. It counts. Panamera, it does count. F1, yuck, says Booba. Booba, not an F1 fan, JK. I'll watch, but NASCAR is better. So yeah, that's I prefer NASCAR over F1 for sure, but I do watch F1 as well. Uh, I've been watching that since Senna. Then Michael Schumacher won too many races, and I stopped watching it. Then Lewis Hamilton won too many races, and I stopped watching it. And pretty soon, Max Verstappen's going to win too many races, and I'm going to stop watching it again. But it sort of is what it is as far as that goes. I understand IndyCar is Fox's new property, therefore will get extra promotion. But it seems like NASCAR has almost got nothing. One race ad for 15 seconds for the Daytona 500 Clash, no ads. Says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, that's going to be their moneymaker though. So we'll see. We'll see how they play the ad game this year. They got a lot of backlash last year. Hopefully they only do the ads during cautions and break it up like that. When they do ads, at least hopefully they'll go side by side like they did for the Clash this year. But we'll see how they play it out. Do you think KFB stays at RCR after this year? Says like dislike. If he has a good season, which I think he will, I think he'll stay. Yeah, they never advertise NASCAR as much. Yeah, they're trying to push IndyCar because it's a new property. They did the same thing with NASCAR back in the day, though. So they've had NASCAR for like 20 years or so. So it's to be expected. Maybe I just feel like they don't. I don't know. No, they're not pushing it because they've had it for so long. They've already built that fan base. They're going to try to build the IndyCar fan base the way that they built the NASCAR fan base. Dirty Mo Media, you could say, is handing out podcasts like nothing. Is that fair to say, BB? They're trying. So you can look at it that way. That is certainly one way of looking at it. I think the other way of looking at it is they're trying new things that other people aren't trying, or new things that people without a platform like them have tried, and they're like, "Ooh, that works. We'll do what that person's doing." So I think it's a smart strategy that they're trying different things. They're not just going to be stagnant and stay in the space and get old. They are at least trying new things, and that is, in my opinion, from Mike Davis, it's brilliant. I think what he's doing over there is a really smart idea. They're not just going to be like, "Hey, we're just going to do this podcast forever until the end of time and then get old and not evolve and try to do other things." So I think what he's doing is a smart move. Try different things. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And he's in a position he can do that too. So kudos to him. He's doing a great job over there. Casey Boat got sunk by Carson to be on door bumper clear, says Mark Barnum. I don't know anything about the behind the scenes. Not getting into that drama. Go Eagles, says Jungle Bob Repair. Amazon is because of shipping, not quality of the TV product, says Mark Langren. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people that have, and that's a fair statement. That's a fair statement, Mark. So Mark's one of the people that boycotts Amazon for reasons of his own, and so that's fair enough. I can understand where you're coming from on that. I'm in for the league, BB. I'm a zesty hot dog goblin fan, a glizzy gobbler, John P. Who loves matte paint schemes and lots of glitter? I spend lots of my money on golf balls too, says John P. I like it. John P's got a theme with the golf balls, and we're gonna roll with that today. Let's see. 7-Eleven has ruined Speedway since they bought it, says KSX. Mm, okay, so that's interesting. I need to do God, when's the last time I've been into a Speedway? I'll have to go into a Speedway and check that out, and I'll see if it's anything like a 7-Eleven around here. I haven't been into a Speedway in a long time. We used to go all the time when I worked in construction, but then when I switched to IT and then later factory work, there wasn't a 7-Eleven or a Speedway near me. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there was one near me, but I've got both near me now, so I can check one out on my drive to Burlington. The days that I work in Burlington. What's up, Jason? What's up, Brandon? What's up, Will? And what's up, everybody else there? I'm not going to name names because I'm going to forget somebody. Chase Elliott will proudly endorse Prime Video for 3 races this year, I believe, before Prime airs races. Says Napa Racing Fan. It could be. It could be. I can't remember when he's going to run the Prime scheme. I was trying to remember it off the top of my head, but you might be right. That Prime scheme's not a bad looking car, though. Go Tigers, says Russell Dominguez. LSU, go Tigers. The only Amazon I like is the Jungle and the Mythical clan of giant women, says Robin Marks. In the Midwest, Broadway and Tasties, says Mark Langren. So there you go. Well, I don't think I've ever seen a. I've done a lot of. I've traveled this United States. I don't think I've ever remembered seeing a Broadway and Tasties. So I'll type it into the GPS next time I'm on a cross country. If I order something on Amazon, is I do free month of Prime, then cancel it 10 minutes after I order and still get the month of Prime, says Mark Barnum. Hey, that's not a bad way of going about it. That way you're getting it for free, and they're not actually getting anything out of you except for your information, which they steal. Let's see. There's no Hunt Brothers Pizza. They don't steal it. It's in the contract you signed to watch the stuff. So clarification, so I don't get sued. There's no Hunt Brothers Pizza near me, says PC Gone Rogue. Rich Bickle was on the Skinner Roundup today. No Hunt Brothers Pizza near UPC Gone Rogue. Thank your lucky stars for that. Rich Bickle was on the Skinner Roundup today and had cool stories about Wisconsin, because Hunt Brothers is not good. Wisconsin in the 80s. Sponsor me, Hunt Brothers. I will drive the limited late model. Probably not as good as Keelan though. Rich Bickle was on the Skinner Roundup today and had cool stories about Wisconsin in the 80s and 90s. Said when Kulwicki left for Cup, he was about the 10th best in Wisconsin and didn't think he could make it, says Dirty Def. Wisconsin, man, they had some legit talent there back then. Like that was a crazy place to come out of. Sort of Dick Trickle influenced stuff. I don't necessarily have an issue with streaming platform for NASCAR, but exclusive streaming, not so much. Plus more cable races with the bad TV deal. Great for teams, bad for fans, says Napa. Amazon Prime used to mean 2 day. Now it's 2 days from shipping. F that, says MBR. Yeah, they've fallen off, but it's because everybody's using them. So it's a problem of their own making for sure. If Coda was smart, they'd build a Bucky's. Buy from your local people. Leave your house and go buy stuff. Don't just give money to Amazon. I will say that. If Coda was smart, they'd build a because local shops don't sell your information to the highest bidder, allegedly. If Coda was smart, they build a Bucky's. Let me put the tinfoil hat on. We're going down tinfoil hat territory. Pull me out. If Coda were smart, they'd build a Bucky's on the infield along the backstretch. Could allow for the use of RC as a truck stop when not hosting races. Verstappen to Aston Martin for $1 million. that would be crazy. That would be crazy. If Coda was smart, they'd build a Bucky's on the infield. That would be cool. That's a good point, Cody. Bucky's. I wonder if they're into NASCAR. Like, are they gonna do a NASCAR deal? I feel like I've seen them do something with NASCAR before. Coda would be a good fit. I feel like I'm trying to remember. It's gonna bug me, so I'm trying to remember. Texas Motor Speedway. Who's Speedway? Big convenient store. I spell terribly. 7-Eleven trackside store. So it is the 7-Eleven. So yes, 7-Eleven built a huge store that's only open when they're racing. It's the biggest 7-Eleven ever built, I think. So maybe other companies can take a look at that and see if that's something viable going forward. Bucky's would be one for sure. Let's see. Dirty Mo is a great thing, says Jungle Bob Repair. Looks like Shaq collaborated with Carvana and worked on Jimmy Johnson's Toyota Camry XSE for the 500. It does look like they've got a partnership, no doubt about it. I predict Allgaier bumps Johnson out of the Daytona 500, says Napa Race fan. That would be crazy. He's got a good looking car, so it's going to be interesting. BB, your audio is glitchy every few minutes, says Mike Menzer. I can't do anything about that. It's reading good on the board and everything's plugged in. So I don't know if that's a YouTube issue. We were having a little bit of trouble streaming earlier, so maybe that's part of it. It could just be the microphone itself. I don't know. We'll look into it. Jimmy Johnson, I am close enough to it, so I know I can be heard. I predict Allgaier bumps Johnson out of the Daytona 500. Let's see. Jimmy Johnson, Carvana. I imagine Chandler Smith with MBM and Corey LaJoy with Rick Ware Racing bumping Truex and Johnson out of the field, says Napa Racing fan. It'll be interesting. Whoever gets bumped is going to be interesting. That's sort of going to be the story of it for sure. Are you going to have your chat up Wednesday or Thursday? Says William Wagman. I do it on Tuesdays, so it'll be Tuesday. We do the live stream. And are you talking about for the duels? Oh, that's a good question. I hadn't thought about that. We'll have to play it by ear. It depends on what I'm doing work wise. But I will try to have it up for the duels. At least after the duels. I don't know about before the duels, but we'll try to go after the duels are over with. I'll try to go live. That sounds like a plan. Tentative plan. Joe Logano is a big fan of Hunt Brothers Pizza, along with Kevin Harvick and Ryan Priest. Says in between the lanes, indeed, they enjoy Hunt Brothers Pizza. And Hunt Brothers Pizza, let me make sure I got that statistic right. Most sold pizza in the U.S. Or maybe Hunt Brothers was the fastest growing. I don't know. It's only showing pizza chains. It's not showing like, I don't know. I need to look up frozen pizza, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. The stuff Dale Jr. and Kelly do on their channel is awesome, and the guests and stories are amazing, says Jungle Bob Repair. I agree. Eagles with by 14 with Barkley as the MVP, says Jeremy Bones Holder. That's not a bad prediction. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't feel good about picking either team. Like it could go either way. But I like the confidence, and it seems like a solid pick. Judging off the numbers I was reading off earlier in the postseason. Don't forget, NASCAR is no longer running the F1 course, but the short course this year. No trucks at COTA this time either, says Napa Racing fans. So that is a good point. I've forgotten the trucks are not going to COTA, and it is a different course. I don't think DBC will be quite as good since Brett Griffin is not on the show. I didn't agree with everything he said, but I liked that he wasn't scared to bring up rumors before they were vetted. That's a good point. Will we get any more couch racer breaking news this next season? That'll be the real question. Oh yeah, I'll ask you for your qualifying predictions on Tuesday, says Dirty Def. I appreciate it. So I'll now that I know that, I will get them ready. What's work, says Mark Langren. Mark Langren, he said he did enough work, and they pay him not to come to work anymore. I hear you, brother. See you Tuesday. Be safe and buckle up, says William Wagman. Next Friday, NBA All-Star Weekend begins, says in between the lanes. So there you go. NBA All-Star starts, and that will be that. I think Caitlin Clark said she's not going to do a three-point contest until it's in Indiana. So she'll be doing three-point contest next year, not this year. That's the only real thing I remember from the NBA All-Star stuff. Chase wins the 500 and locks in, says Jungle Bob. That would be a huge advantage. That is the one huge advantage if you win the Daytona 500. You've got the rest of the year to practice for the last 10 races. Todd Gilliland in front row will win the pole, says Napa Racer fan. So yeah, that's an interesting question as well. What manufacturer will be fastest at Daytona this year? Glad to see Tommy Baldwin and Ryan Newman didn't get into a fight this weekend, says Dirty Def. That's always a bonus. Two stubborn individuals. All right, final results of the poll question. Eagles, 34%. Who's winning the Super Bowl? KC, 17%. The refs at 18%, and not the fans, 31%, finishing in second place. All right. That's all I got for you on this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Congratulations to Glock and Miss Glock and new baby Glock. All right. I'm really going now. Or am I? I could keep talking. Like, we could bring up another topic, and I could probably talk about that too. And then, anything could happen